Yeah, I mean, this is heartbreaking there.
No,
I feel
I
for
feel it's pain.
Mubarak Wakasu, yeah,
I feel
I
it's
feel it's
pain.
pain because if you lose in a good way, penalty can be anybody's game. But then if they had just gotten that one that the referee ruled offside, well, as the coach said, we can't wait. Quarterfinals, we'll have the VAR. And we don't know if it's going to affect Nigeria, but we have to in between. It's going to be talking to us. Our prepared Super Eagles for the game against Bafana Bafana. We know that in Uyo, I mean, 2-0. We went to Joburg, it was 1-0. So recently, they kind of have, well, a little bit of edge over Nigeria, not just recently. But overall, we know Super Eagles are always better. Tony Bisi, if you can hear us, good morning and welcome to the program. It's good to have you here live from Cairo in Egypt.
Yeah, good morning, Sisi, Yemi and Tayo. It's a privilege to be on sports this morning.
Yeah, it's a privilege for us to actually have you. It's been a long, long time. Ty is actually, yeah, away for a while. Okay, now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, though they're in Cairo, they are settled down and all that. They're waiting for the game against South Africa. How crucial will this game be for the boys?
This is a crucial game, of course. It's a Nations Cup quarterfinal game. We want to go to the semifinals and then move on from there. So it's a very important game. We understand what football is to Nigeria, how it can cement the nation and bring everybody together. And we know that we are carrying the hope and the aspirations of almost 200 million Nigerians. So we understand exactly what it means, and we are going to give this our best. It's a very important game for us, and we are taking it very, very seriously. We know it's going to be tough, so we are not taking anybody for granted. We are pushing and working hard to making sure we are able to get the result tomorrow.
Okay. Tony, let me quickly ask you this one. Everybody wants to know the status of the players. Are there any injuries to report? The guys that are down with injuries, are there chances Mikel Obi, for instance, will be able to play? Shewa Abdullahi? Did anybody pick any knock that wasn't reported? Just a situation a lot of people will want to know ahead of that crucial game against Bafana Bafana.
Yeah, the good news is that all our players are on the pitch. All of them are back in training. That's a very good news. All of them were involved in training yesterday. But only the coach can decide if Mikel is fit enough to play or Shewa was on the bench in the last game. Collins is also back. He was on the bench in the last game. But only the coach can decide if these guys are 100%. But the good news is that all of them are back in training. But you know, because if you stayed out for a while, injured, your fitness level needs to be worked on to catch up with the rest of the team. So that may be an issue for the players who are recuperating, but all of them are back in training, which is good news.
Okay, let me just ask you this. Talking about South Africa, Cecilia hinted earlier, a year or two ago, or maybe 5 years down the line, if you're talking about South Africa, a lot of us would just wave it away and say we beat them. But things have changed. So how are they taking this game, the new status that the Bafana have? I mean, the Egypt that we dread so much, they've beaten them, and that should count for something. So how are they taking that newfound status that the South Africans appear to have now?
Well, every game is different, and the professional attitude is to take every game as it comes. There is no big difference in this game. I mean, there's no difference from the other games we've played. All the games have been crucial. Particularly the game against Cameroon was a very tough game, defending champions. So it's yet another crucial game, yet another important game for us. The attitude of Coach Genotro and the team since the tournament started is to take the next game as the most important game. So remember when they asked him at the beginning of the tournament which game would be the toughest, he said Burundi. Then after the Burundi game, he said Guinea. And that's the approach. The next game is the most difficult one, is the more important one. Because if you don't cross that game, there's no next game. So that's the approach. No special attachment to South Africa. They're a good side, just like all the other teams left in the tournament. And at this stage of the competition, you cannot choose who you want to play. You have to play according to the draw. So we take it that way. It's a crucial game that we want to win. We want to be serious about it. We don't want to take anybody for granted. And yeah, that's the way it is. No special attachment to the fact that it's South Africa. It could be anybody. But what is important for us is that we want to take this seriously and go as far as we can.
Going as far as we can. But then there's this story everywhere. Rather, let me just situate it. I mean, Segun Digbami was on Sunrise Daily yesterday morning, and he talked about the fact that, Super Eagles are going into this game as the underdogs because of the, the recent result between Nigeria and South Africa. Do you subscribe to that?
Well, at this level of the game, we don't talk about underdogs anymore. Every team that is left in the competition is good enough to win it, so there are no underdogs anymore. But the fact that South Africa beat the hot favorites, Egypt, on their soil in front of their fans makes them gives them a little edge because they are high on confidence. They've done it on that big pitch, so maybe that's the edge that he's talking about. But there's absolutely, at this level of the game, any of the 8 teams remaining have the quality to do it. So we like to play as underdogs, no doubt, to take the pressure off. But at this stage of the competition, it's 50-50. Everybody goes into it, and you want to get the results, do your best, and make your nation happy.
Okay, hopefully Super Eagles of Nigeria will be able to beat South Africa tomorrow, and we'll get here to celebrate. Tony, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. We know how difficult it is to actually get you, right there from Cairo. All right, well, he's subscribing to that. But then let's hear from the person who actually said that underdog and the reason he had to say that and what the coach really needs to do and the strikers to ensure that they can beat South Africa.
We are the underdogs. Let me put it like that. Because they have the psychological advantage that in the past couple of games that we have played, we have not been able to defeat them. The South Africans are on top. For so many years, we were just beating them everywhere, at home, away, and then suddenly in the past few years, they have come up, and now they believe that they know how to deal with us. So that psychology will help them, as it helped us against Cameroon. But we have the advantage of the quality of players. I see in our team some players that can make the difference. And with the spirit that we have just imbibed now after the Cameroon, but it's going to be probably our most difficult match. Tactically, there's nothing to write home about the Nigerian attack. But when it comes to finishing, we have these chances. When we have space behind those defenses, our boys can run quick, at the defenses. And once the chance comes, we have players that can make good use of them. So in that regard, we have a good attack, but they are not well organized.
All right, that's Segun Digbami, the former captain of the national team,
member of the
1980 winning squad. So when he's talking, we have to listen.
You have to listen.
Yeah.
He's been there, understands African football, and knows about rivalry. And, so I mean, everything that he said, I hope the Eagles and the handlers will listen, take it seriously. South Africa have a newfound status.
Absolutely. Beating Egypt, host nation, I mean, that is huge for the nation. The way they were celebrating is as if already they've won the title. They're like, okay, this is a big one. Against Nigeria, we don't know what they're going to bring to the party, but we know we have the players that can, win this game. All they have to do, take your chances. Don't act like, the Egyptians. I mean, Trezeguet, remember that guy had 4 clear-cut chances. 2 one-on-one. He couldn't nick anyone. And what happened? Just one from South Africa, and that was it. So we have to watch out for that. Odegalo, trust him. I mean, good guy. 2 goals, 1 assist. Go ahead and do same. Right. Alexi will be also do same. Yeah. And if you can do that, we're next.
Okay.
We're good.
It would be good to be South Africa because they've beaten us in review and they keep talking about it. So let's beat them at a stage that they will feel the pain. Let's look at the teams that have made it to the quarterfinal. The list is complete now. Nigeria is there, courtesy of that victory over the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. So let's see the 8 teams that have qualified and possibly how the fixtures will be in the quarterfinals. So let's see if we can do that quickly. Of course, you already know Nigeria is there. Of course, the Carthage Eagles
Senegal.
of Tunisia there, Eagles of Mali there as well, Bafana in the mix. I'm very sure it's going to come up shortly. And of course, let's just run it by
the way it's looking like, Senegal and Benin Republic, 2 of them facing each other. Nigeria, South Africa, of course, that's also, they have Algeria and Cote d'Ivoire. They have Madagascar and of
Tunisia.
course, Tunisia completing that are quarter-final fixtures. Against Senegal and Benin, then you have Nigeria, South Africa, Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and you have Madagascar and Tunisia. There you have confirmation of the quarter-final fixtures for the Africa Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019, where you have defending champions, they are out, host nation, they are out. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, of course, we'll be talking about the Americans, I mean, the USA women's national team. They are already in New York, and the celebrations begin.